1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What's this? We're going to be doing something new. It's called the number line, and we need to know that there are positive numbers. And what are these? These are negative numbers. So this is what a positive 1 looks like. You know that. And here's positive 2 or plus 2. We can call them either way. But on the other side, we have a negative 1 or a minus 1. And we have negative or minus 2. But there's something really special in the middle. I've left an empty space. What do you think might be there? Ah, watch this. I'm going to move a plus 1 and a negative 1 together. What do you guess that might be? Did you say 0? Yes, that's 0. Congratulations, you're beginning to understand the number line. Oh my gosh, I bet this looks really familiar to you. You know how to do adding when we have all positive numbers. We actually don't even talk about it when we start adding. We just presume that you know. But today I'm going to use these little pluses to show what's a positive number and also another positive plus when we're adding. So here we have plus 5, and I've used these little pluses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to add to it plus 2. Here's the plus 2. And when we put them together, we get plus 7. I've told you before, math is the study of patterns, and I don't want to miss any pattern. So now I've just changed places with the 2 and the 5. We're adding plus 2 and plus 5, and guess what? We still get plus 7. This is what you know how to do. Now we have a different problem. It's still adding, which is why I wrote the word adding in green. And here's my green plus sign that tells you the directions for this problem. It says add. What are we adding? Oh my goodness, we're adding those negative numbers, those minus numbers. Here it says we're going to add minus 5 plus minus 2. Wow! So here's minus 5. I've made it in red. Here's one minus, another minus, another minus, another minus, another minus. 5 minuses. And to the 5 minuses, we're going to add 2 more minuses. So what do we have all together? Minus 7. Good job. I've changed the numerals around now. Now we have minus 2. Here's the minus 2. And we're adding. Here it says adding. And here's our direction sign to add. To the minus 2, we're adding minus 5. So the question is, how many do we have all together? Can you figure that out? The answer's right there. Do you see that it's really minus 7? We have minus, 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 minus. We have minus 7, and that's what the answer is. What have I laid out? I think if you came to the earlier videos, you know that I have a plus 1 and a minus 1, or a plus 1 and a negative 1. But when I put them together, I make 0, right? And do you know there are an infinite number of zeros in the universe? I'm going to show you the next one. How about if I had plus 2? Here's plus 2. And I wanted to add to it, what? Minus 2. I have to turn these little fellows over. Minus 2. Look. And now what happens? When I put them together, I have 1 0 and another 0. And you know what? When you add zeros together, you still have 0. So this is another combination for 0, and that's very important for the lessons we're going to be doing next. I want to introduce you to a very wonderful mathematical friend called Superhero Zero. You didn't know that friend existed, but it's very important to know about 0. I've drawn now what I was showing you just prior to this lesson. Plus 1 and a minus 1 equals 0. And then here's the plus 2 and the minus 2. That equals 0. And I just thought I'd write out for you what I said. There are an infinite number of zeros in the universe. And here's the game. The game is to know how many zeros you need. We're going to start again with adding. And this time we're going to be looking for how to make 0. We have minus 2. Here's the red line I do for making minus signs, right? And we're going to add to it a plus 5. The game is to find 0, to make 0. So I've added 5 pluses because it says to add 5 pluses. When I do that, I see that I can make 0. Do you see? I've made 2 zeros. So what's left is the answer. What's left is plus 3, and that's the answer. Let's do another fun one with addition where we're making 0. The problem is plus 2. Here are my pluses. And we're going to add to it minus 5. Here are my minus 5. And I've circled something. What did I circle? I circled a 0. Do you see the plus and the minus make a 0? And here's another plus and minus makes a 0. So those don't count in the problem. There's 0. The answer is what we have left. We have 1 minus, another minus, another minus, minus 3. So when you add plus 2 and minus 5, the answer is what you have left, minus 3. Notice I've changed the color. Red tells me that we need this minus sign. I've just made that up. You can use any color when you're adding and subtracting, but I thought it would be fun to use red and green. The problem today is you have plus 5. Here's my plus 5. And we want to take away 2. I didn't get anything else out. You know how to do this. You've been doing this for a long time. If you have plus 5 and you want to subtract or take away 2, we can just cross out 2 of the pluses. And the answer is what's left? 1, 2, 3. Plus 3. Yay! I've written in red again. We're doing another subtraction problem. Here's my minus sign. This problem says we have minus or negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to be subtracting, taking away minus 2. Well, you can already see the answer, but this is how I do it with the materials. Well, actually with a drawing. Here's minus 5, and I just crossed out 2, minus 2 right here. And the answer is what's left. 1, 2, 3, negative or minus 3. Good job. Now we're getting into some real magic. We're going to be doing subtracting, but we need to call on superhero 0. The first problem is we have plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're supposed to be taking away minus a minus 2. We don't have any minus 2s. Where can we get a minus 2? We're going on with this really fun problem where we need to call on superhero 0. We have plus 5 and we want to take away minus 2. So we have to call on superhero 0 to get some minuses. So here's a minus, but I can't just put a minus in. I have to use hero 0. And here's another one, another 0. And in the 0 are the 2 minuses. Oh, I like superhero 0. So now what do we have? You can see the whole answer here, right? We started with plus 5, and the directions were to take away a negative or a minus 2. And here's the minus 2, hiding in the 0. So I'm just going to cross out the negatives, the minuses. The answer is what's left. Look at all these pluses. We started with plus 5, and now we have 2 more pluses. All together, plus 5 and a plus 2 equals plus 7. Oh my gosh. I think we're going to be doing more subtracting and we're going to need superhero 0. Can you see why we might need superhero 0? Well, first of all, we have -5, right? And we want to take away +2. What's the problem? The problem is we don't have any positive or +2s. So we're going to need to call on superhero 0. Oh my goodness. Look, we still have our -5, our -5. We're taking away +2. And I've made +2. But you know, I can't just add +2. The only thing I can add is 0. So I've added this 0 and this 0. Why did I only add 2 zeros? I only need to take away +2. So it didn't make any sense to add more zeros because +2 here is all I needed. So 0 and 0. Come back. We're going to do some crossing out. Yay! Now we can figure out the answer. We had -5, -5. We're taking away +2. And here they are, hiding in the zeros. So I just crossed them out. What's left? That's our answer. We have -5 or -5 and another 2 negatives. So altogether, we have -7. Oh, yippee, we're doing some more subtracting that requires our friend superhero 0. So what does this problem say? It says we have +2. Here's the pluses. And we're supposed to take away -5, a -5. We don't have any. That's the clue that you're going to need to call on superhero 0. We have +2, and now I've drawn something special. It said we're supposed to take away -5. So here's the minus or -5s. But you know, I just can't have those. The only thing I can add to a problem ever is 0. And that doesn't change the problem. And why did I get out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros? Do you know? Do you see? Sure, here's the -5. And now I can take away 1, -2, 3, 4, 5 minuses. And I'm going to get the answer. Oh my goodness, look, you can see the answer. Okay, how did we get the answer? So we had +2. I made 5 zeros. And in the zeros, we're hiding the -5s. Well, a -5, whoops, a -1, another -1, all together, 5 minuses. So I just crossed them out. And what was left was the answer. What was left? These 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pluses. So believe it or not, when you have +2 and you take away -5, it doesn't seem really logical that your answer would be +7. But now you know how important 0 is. Superhero 0. That changes the whole problem. Math is the study of patterns and relationships. I'm trying to make sure that I've showed you all the combinations that you might bump into when you're adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. Look at what we have here today. You can tell right away we're going to need superhero 0 because we have -2 and we want to take away a +5. As soon as you see that we need to take away a +5, you probably already know that we're going to need to call on superhero 0 because here's our +5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we can't just add a +5. The only thing we can add is a 0. So coming along together, this is a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. We have 5 zeros. And do you remember why I only chose 5 zeros? Let me see. Not 3 or 10. Because I only needed 5 pluses. 5 positive numbers and numerals. So when I cross them out, you're going to see the answer. Look, 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 we've come up with the answer. We had -2, and the directions were to subtract +5. And then I added how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I could take away the pluses that are hiding in the 0. And the answer is, what's left? What is left? Ha ha! 1 minus 2 minuses, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minus 7. And that's the answer. We're doing some more subtracting. And it's very special today what I've laid out. We are going to need superhero 0. Why? We have minus 2, and we're supposed to be taking away minus 5. That sounds very interesting. Here's our minus 2, and now I'm going to add 0. Oh, my goodness, I only added 3. 1 0, another 0, another 0. Why did I only need 3 zeros when it says subtract or take away minus 5? Look hard. Do you see there are other minuses in the problem? Sure. Here's 1 minus, another minus, another minus, another minus, another minus. I only needed to add 3 because I already had 2 negatives, 2 minuses. Come back and we'll figure out the answer. Oh my goodness, I've showed you the answer already, but we discussed it the last time I saw you. We have minus 2. We're going to cross those out and we're going to subtract the minus 3. In other words, we're going to take away minus 5. And what's the answer? Yes, what's left? Plus 3. And here's the plus 3.